Bihar and is seen as one of the main reasons for the MGB failing to make it to the majority mark. So here are some of the big questions that we will be addressing with our expert panel. Is Congress then a liability for its allies? Are the Congress stalwarts only armchair critics without being active workers on ground? Does the Congress lack state leadership in a critical state like Bihar? Did the Congress overestimate its own chances by bargaining for 70 seats when it knew it was a lost cause? Why did it go for that many seats? Because that has ruined the prospects of the entire alliance, which is only short of 12 seats from the majority mark. So let me introduce my guest this evening. But before that, let's quickly listen in to the stinging attack that has come in from various quarters to the Congress party.
बराक ओबामा ने एक टिप्पणी की उनके राहुल गांधी के ज्ञान पर, और शिवानंद जी लगता है उनसे ज़्यादा ज्ञान अर्जित कर लिए कि ये पॉलिटिकल टूरिज्म करते हैं, ये राजनीति नहीं करते। वैसे हम लोग तो पहले ही से कहते आ रहे हैं, लोगों को बुरा लगता था, ये नॉन सीरियस। और आज महागठबंधन को ये पहले सोचना चाहिए था, बाद में क्यों, जब चिड़िया चुग गई खेत तो अब पछतात क्या होता।
इनको लगा कि तेजस्वी यादव ही कांग्रेस की नैया पार कराएंगे और कांग्रेसी सिर्फ पटना के होटल में बैठे रहे। जैसे बिहार का चुनाव लड़े वैसे हर जगह चुनाव लड़े, हमें तो बड़ी खुशी होगी। हम थोड़ी कांग्रेस को सलाह देने वाले हैं कि आपको ऐसे लड़ना चाहिए। हम तो, हमारी सलाह है जैसे बिहार में लड़े वैसे देश में चुनाव लड़िए, बहुत अच्छा है।
पहले कहा था कांग्रेस जिस चीज़ पे हाथ लगा देगी वो सुहा हो जाएगी, उड़ जाएगी। श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी जी के समय में ये एक बहुत आम बात थी कि अगर गेहूं पे हाथ लगा दिया तो वो गायब हो जाता है, अगर वो चावल पे हाथ लगा दिया वो गायब हो जाता है, गन्ने पे हाथ लगा दिया वो गायब हो जाता है। अब उसी तरह से राहुल गांधी जी की जो कांग्रेस है वो जिस पार्टी पे हाथ लगा देती है उस पार्टी का जो है वो बंटाधार हो जाता है।
Let me welcome my guests on the show. Desh Ratan Nigam, political observer and supporter of the BJP and the RSS. Also Vinod Sharma, political editor of the Hindustan Times, joining us this afternoon. Welcome and good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. My first question to you, Mr. Vinod Sharma, that, it's actually a curious case when you knew that you did not have that kind of a capability to fight 70 seats, and when even half of it, if you knew that you did not have the capability, why did you bargain for that many seats, number one? And is it a miscalculated risk? Because this narrative from the Congress side is that these are seats that RJD has never won and therefore we took a chance. But was it fair on the alliance to fight for that kind of numbers with 70 seats and then come back with just 19?
Well, the Congress explanation that these were difficult seats begs the question, then why did you take the deal? Why did you take those 70 seats, which you thought were not winnable? See, I think the Congress quite clearly punched above its weight on the negotiating table. It never punched above its weight or as per its weight on the ground in the battlefield, and that is where the whole story lies. Well, this can happen to any political party, and the Congress should have realized that Bihar hasn't been a landscape where it has fared well for a long, long time. Last time in 2015, when it got 27 odd seats out of 41, it was part of a very formidable coalition, which included Nitish Kumar as well. This time too, the Gathbandhan was strong, as is evident from the results that we have seen. I mean, the BJP and the JDU have a wafer-thin majority. Yes. So, of course, we can celebrate because they have come to power. Nitish has come to for the fourth time in a row. But quite clearly, I think that the Congress party, had it performed better, had the Congress party had a strike rate of even 40% compared to the 27% it has, I think it would have been an even fight and the government could have gone either way.
Absolutely. So that is settled. I mean, there perhaps can be no dispute on it, and even the best well-wishers of the Congress party or supporters of the Congress party will concede to the fact that had the party performed just a little bit better, it would have been a different story, because the RJD had put up a spirited fight. Tejasvi had massive rallies. In comparison, of course, it was a lackluster campaign on the part of the Congress, but Deshwatan Nigam, then, of course, would it be fair to draw a conclusion that over and above all the other factors, it was the Congress as well that added to the advantage of the BJP and by default gave BJP a huge advantage, because of which you could come up with this kind of a number where you've got 74 seats in a state like Bihar?
See, I think BJP contests on its own merits, not that they gain by the Congress. In fact, it was the LJP which helped the RJT to gain, and that is the whole issue. But the fact remains that Congress is in a dump today. We all know, in fact, it took Obama to show mirror to the Rahul, and for that matter, the Sonia family. And even still in the Congress, nobody is challenging the Sonia family. See, unless and until you have that particular family removed from the equation, the good leadership from the grassroots will not be able to come. They have deadweight nominated people in CWC who are the ones who decide, who are not in touch with the grassroots level. And the grand old party, as we call it, is just an old party, neither grand and nor a party now. Even Kapil Sibal had to muster courage to say something, but still he has not touched the Sonia and the family. They need to change. They cannot be, shoot and scoot kind of, picnicking politicians. And that is where the difference comes. And there are grassroots level workers, but they don't seem to get any attention. And this is high time, I think, if we need a constructive opposition at a national level, something needs to be done with the Congress.
So that point about grassroots level leaders, if I can put that to you, Mr. Sharma, that, this seems to be an issue. We do have the so-called stalwarts in the Congress who are more or less the armchair critics. It's very easy to write a letter to Sonia Gandhi and talk about the various problems that the party is faced with. But how many of them have you seen with boots on the ground, acting like real party workers? Because in the BJP, you have a number of them who are seen in the field, who are actually active and proactive rather in the entire election machinery. But here you have critics within the party as well. We heard Mr. Sibal, we've heard Shashi Tharoor earlier, and we have the likes of Karti Chidambaram also coming out. But are these people capable of being strong grassroots leaders? Where is the state leadership of the Congress party in Bihar?
That's the moot question. And I think that factor, besides putting the onus on the leadership more, divides it equally between the party workers and other leaders and the top leadership. The Congress today is packed by workers and leaders who, in my view, are lazy. They are unwilling to work on the ground. They have gotten too used to luxury. The party needs an absolute overhaul. Yes. From the grass to the top. Now, how that will happen, whether this is the time to do it, in October, in August, if you remember, when that letter was written by 23 senior leaders flagging what was wrong with the Congress party. In October, that is last month, their Central Election Committee met and, to review the list of AICC members and all that who elect the Congress president and Congress working committee. No, I think they should hurry up and try and do something quickly. Insofar as things is concerned, insofar as the things are concerned, whether or not they stay at the helm, and if they stay at the helm in what kind of dispensation, or whether there can be an improvised role for them, because it is believed that their presence at the helm keeps the party together. Let us give the benefit of doubt on that to the party. By the same time, they need to tone up the party structure in the states, right up to the district level and at the center. And I'm afraid that many people who say that, who are now holding the candle so to speak, to the party leadership. Well, I don't see very many mass leaders in the Congress today. Can you name me one mass leader, barring a few exceptions like Amarendra Singh?
Right. So while that is a problem, would it be fair, Mr. Sharma, this is a very limited discussion, limited time I have. I want to go across to Mr. Nigam again to ask you that, if you look at the vote share, Mr. Nigam, BJP and JDU together has got 34%. The Congress and the RJD together has 32%. So while you may take the moral high ground and say, well, we have done better and people have reposed faith in us, in terms of the vote share, it's not as if the two parties together have done badly, and their argument is we fought the elections as a cohesive unit. And just like you are being very gracious with the JDU to say we have Nitish Kumar as the chief minister, even though they've got a smaller number of seats, the Congress may say the same for their alliance, that they fought as an alliance. It's unfair to separate the two within the MGB.
See, Afrida, let me make it very clear. Yes, you can take that argument, but if the Congress had contested alone, in UP they contested and they got lot of candidates got less than 2% votes. So we know the Congress piggybacking on RJD's back. Now, most of the leaders in the Congress who go out for campaigning are like rainy toads. For election, it is like rains for them. They come out and then they vanish. We don't require that kind of, for that matter, in any party, we don't require that kind of leadership. Leadership which is unconnected, leadership which has no clear policy guidelines, leadership does not know where to be very clear about defense forces, about China. They start questioning on things where they ridicule themselves. So there is no clarity. There is immense amount of confusion. You are, as a constructive opposition, you are supposed to ask, penetrative questions, insightful questions, not to make mockery of your own defense forces or call names to your chief of the army staff. That is the kind of, thing they think it is appealing to a particular community or a section. Realizing that the Oasis party has taken away whatever vote share they used to get.
Right, but despite all of that, Mr. Nigam, yes. Yes, but then let's not forget that you have one side which is powerful with the election machinery that works like a well-oiled machine. You have a very strong BJP IT cell, which is again a propaganda machine. So the Congress, of course, in comparison, is lackluster. But then there is a lot that needs to be corrected within, like its top leaders within the party keeps coming up with. However, we still wait to see that change, and that has not come about yet. I would like to thank Mr. Deshratan Nigam and Vinod Sharma for joining us this afternoon. Thanks for joining in the conversation. So that's the big issue here. We continue to track the developments from Bihar, and of course later this afternoon, the big swearing-in ceremony when Nitish Kumar will take oath as the chief minister for a fourth consecutive term, creating history once again, since no other chief minister of North India at least has had that kind of a track record. Thanks for watching.